Right, let's just do corrections to this class very quickly. For the first one, you will simply take out a common bracket. The common bracket there will be y minus x. I've just highlighted it in green. Just take that out. Whatever is left, which is the black stuff, will be in brackets. So in this case, in the other bracket, in the first bracket, you'll have y minus x. In the second bracket, you will have 3y minus x. Okay, let's check the next one. The common factor here is n minus m. I will highlight it, take it out. Whatever is in green will be in the first bracket. Whatever is in black will be in the second bracket. We have a binomial multiplied by a binomial. Here, please note that we have a common bracket. Since we have a common bracket, you only take the bracket with the lowest exponent out as a common factor. In this case, your lowest bracket with the lowest exponent will be that r minus 2 to the exponent of 2. That's why I only highlighted on. So I will take it out. In the first term, I'll be left with only 1 r minus 2. And then where there was r minus 2 squared, I'm left with 1. That's why I've got minus 1 there. And obviously, you can simplify this further by having r minus 2 minus 1, which will be r minus 3 in the second bracket. And this one I just did in full. We're going to have the bracket, the common bracket will be a minus b, but it will be the a minus b with the lowest exponent, which was 3. And hence I highlighted it there and I took it out. And I was left in brackets. In the bigger bracket, I'll have a minus b minus 1. And I simply simplified that and I couldn't get any form. And in number 5, I also did the same thing, but I also broke down 6 into 2 factors, which is 3 times 2x, okay? And you realize that 3 becomes a common factor, and we have a common factor, which is an integer, and a common factor, which is a common bracket, and I took both out, and I was left with 1 minus 2x in bracket, okay? The last one was this one, and I also did it for you quickly. I simply took out a common bracket, which is x minus 1 to the exponent of 1, because that is the lowest exponent. And I was left with x minus 1 in the first term. It's supposed to be x minus 1 squared in the first term, and minus 1 in the second term. I'll be left with minus 1. All right. Here we'll simply be changing signs. For instance, if I have a bracket like this where we have x minus 2, to change signs, I will simply have to take out negative as a common factor. The signs of terms that are inside the brackets will simply change. So if I take out a common factor in the example that I just gave you, which is x minus 2, if I take out a common factor of negative 1, I'll be left with, because x is positive, it'll now be minus, and because 2 was negative, now it'll be positive. So you just change the signs of terms inside the bracket. And obviously, we can write that as minus into 2 minus x, and then you close bracket. I hope you got that. Try this crossword quickly. Change the sign of the following brackets. Pause for 5 minutes while doing this. The first one, to change the signs I will take out negative as a common factor. The 3 was negative inside the bracket. Now it will be positive. The x was positive. Now it will be negative. So when you take out negative as a common factor, the signs of the terms that you have inside the bracket will change. As I've said, you'll realize that the 3 is negative. It will change and become positive. The 3 is negative. It will change, become positive. The x is positive. It will change and become negative. So to change the signs here, all I have to do is to take out a common factor of negative, and that's what happens. And this one here will do the same thing. If I take out negative as a common factor, this will tend to positive, and that will tend to negative. Take out negative as a common factor, this will tend to negative, and that will tend to positive. If I take out negative as a common factor, this will tend to positive, that will tend to negative. But because I already have negative outside, that negative will also change and become positive. Similarly here, this will tend to positive, that will tend to positive, and as I take it negative out as a common factor, that will also tend to positive. Okay. Let's try and factorize this. You realize that we have a common bracket, which is this x minus 1 and this 1 minus x. The problem is that the 1 must be negative, but in this bracket, the 1 is positive. And the x must be positive, but in that bracket, the x is negative. So I'm simply going to change the signs in the second bracket by taking out negative as a common factor, because I want these brackets to be the same. I took out negative as a common factor. Check, the x was negative, now it's positive. The 1 was positive, now it is negative. Okay, close them in the big bracket. I still have y is still there. I just put it outside the bracket. What I'm going to do to break the bigger bracket, I'm simply going to take this positive y and multiply it by this negative 1 here. So I'll end up having negative y outside the bracket. So that sign will change and become positive when we take out negative as a common factor. Now I've got common brackets. All I'm going to do is to take them out as a common factor, which is x minus 1. What am I going to be left with when I take x minus 1 out as a common factor? I'll be left with 2 minus y. Okay. Try this classwork. All right, for this classwork here, you'll realize I've got x minus 2 in the first bracket. Okay, I've got x minus 2 there, and I've got 2 minus x there. So definitely I have to change this one here by taking out negative as a common factor. The fact that I've got plus outside, when I take out that negative as a common factor, this plus will change and become positive. Now that's what I'm going to do when I take out the negative as a common factor. Then I'm going to take this minus x and multiply it. We've got 1 over here, but it's negative. So minus x times negative 1, because brackets simply represent multiplication, okay? So when you take this negative x times negative 1 over there, negative times negative is positive. And you'll realize that x minus 2 becomes my common factor in the second bracket. I'll be left with the leftovers, which will be 3 plus x. Okay, try these out and check out the next video. for solutions. Hold on for now.